Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of TerraTech. And on tonight's episode, we are going to be continuing where we left off. Now, for those of you who may have missed the last few episodes, we have been going full bore into the R&D department because it was a gift from one of our viewers out there. And, you know, to be honest, I had messed around with it when I first started this game, and it was amazing to build some of this stuff without having to worry about how much money you had and having to worry about finding the right pieces or getting attacked. It definitely is interesting, and we're going to be going back to that at some point. But to be honest, I am kind of missing the regular gameplay. Like, I miss going out there and just seeing what trouble we can get ourselves into. I was hoping that they were going to do another patch here soon. Maybe they will. But, you know, a lot of the time when they integrate a new patch in, you have to start over anyways. And that's kind of what I was hoping they would do, so we could start over with that new patch. Now, the last patch they've done was Tuesday, the 22nd of March. And they added the SCU storage block, which is an amazing little thing that they've put into the game. And I think it's going to... In fact, I don't remember seeing that storage block in the R&D department. And it would be kind of cool if they had put that in there, because there was some kind of experimentation I would like to do with it to see if there's a way to have it automatically pick stuff up with conveyors and things of that sort. There's definitely some experimentation to be had with that device. Maybe somewhere down the road we'll be able to do that, but for now, the only way we can mess with that device at all is in the actual game. So that's what we're going to be doing on this this playthrough right here, guys. We're going to be starting a brand new game. We're going to be going in there just regular story mode. We're not going to be hooking it up to Twitter. I don't like the requirements that it wants for Twitter. Like, it wants access and stuff like that. It is above and beyond what normal games usually call for. In fact, they've changed it to where it wants even more than it used to. So I'm not really a big fan of that one. But this is how the game starts off. You are crash landing on a planet. I guess you could call it an alien planet, although it looks very much like Earth in the sense that it has trees and resources, although a lot of these resources I've never heard of in my life, so a little bit different. Now, your escape capsule didn't quite make it all the way to the ground, and your cab is one of the things that pops out. And you can see the other pieces of your your ship in the distance in those little smoke things right there. And it's telling you the tutorial of how to move around. You right click and hold it down, and you can scroll from side to side. And then it's telling you, oh, and by the way, now you have blocks on the ground. You can go ahead and pick that up with your left mouse button and drag it anywhere where you see a little red dot. If you click up, if you click the dot, or not the dot, the block itself, you'll see all these little red dots on there. And that's telling you where things can be attached. If you move to this side, you'll see there's another little dot on that side. And if you moved it up, you'll see there's a little red dot underneath it as well. So this block right here can be attached on any side whatsoever. It does not matter. However, your cab will also show a dot when you get close enough to it on where it can be attached. When you get close right here, you'll see there's a dot right there. However, there's not a dot on the side at the moment. You normally can attach underneath, but for the purposes of the tutorial, it doesn't want to do that at the moment. So we're going to go ahead and do what it wants us to do. And it's going to drop the wheels out of the sky for you. Now, these wheels used to, as every other block in the game or every other object in the game, used to be, if you hold over it, it would give you a little description of it. And that little thing is, I guess, is broken at the moment. They are trying to fix that, and at some point they definitely will. They used to have a very simple explanation of what it did, a little detailed thing of saying, this is a wheel, it provides a little bit of strength, a little bit of support, blah, blah, blah. And then later on they added that same description, but then they went even further and they added like little funny stories behind each and every one of the objects, like who created it and things of that sort. And it was kind of cool. I liked it. So I am definitely looking forward to them pulling that back into the game at some point, because it definitely is useful to look at. Now, your weapons. This is a combat-oriented game in some senses. A lot of it is building, that's for sure, and you can do the bases for your bots, but you do need to kind of go off and attack. Now, you do have to worry about the overall weight and, balance of your bot. I do apologize, guys. I am still slightly sick there, and yeah, because you're going to be going up hills and down hills, and if your bot's too heavy in the front, it may roll over on itself when you go up a hill. If it's too heavy in the front, it may roll over itself when you go down a hill. Same if it's too heavy in the back, things of that sort. Actually, I should say when you go up a hill, if you're too heavy in the back, you should roll. But you can do it the same way. I mean, it's just, it's crazy. This game is really, really good with the physics, I think. So it says you've assembled your new tech. Now you need to exit the build mode. And for me, the build mode is a different button than the spacebar. But the spacebar is usually, I guess, your attack right there. It used to be the, and it's not going to be the attack on mine because it does that every single time. Okay, so we'll come in here and change that to insert because that's the way I do it. And I didn't save it, did I? I don't think I did. Insert, save options, there we go. And yeah, I don't know why it changes the default. No matter how many times you play, it just does it. Okay, so now you can hold the weapons. Again, it's not going to recognize it because I did change the key. It wants you to use the spacebar. So if you changed it to something else like I did, go ahead and just tap the spacebar. It's the only way to get the game to recognize that you're actually doing what it wants you to do. Again, I do hope they fix that little minor inconvenience. Oh no, he's attacking me. All right, let's get in there. Oh, he's knocking stuff off, so I'm knocking stuff off of him. Should we move the wheel? No, it's already destroyed. You do want to get most of this stuff intact. If you do happen to see something fall off of the guy that you want to keep, make sure to, and you want to aim after the cab. Look at this guy right now. He's moving towards me because he can only shoot forwards. And he just, he doesn't quite have the angle to get me right now. They are usually incredibly smart. The cab right there that's flashing, that is the end-all be-all. If you can destroy the cab on any bot whatsoever, the bot is gone. He's going to blow up here in a second. And, well, like I mean, they do blow up. They do damage to the blocks behind them. So you can go ahead and pick up his pieces just like you can do with any of the other bots out there that you happen to destroy. And this is how you get bigger. This is how you get stronger. And eventually, you know, get a bot that's just, you know, so huge you blot out the sun almost. It's crazy how much you can do with this. Now, you can use the scroll wheel to change the angle at which this this weapon goes down. You want to make sure it's facing in a different angle than forward because it can't shoot you know, through one another. So if there's a weapon in front of it, this weapon right here in the back would not be able to shoot through the one in the front. So you either want it facing towards the side or facing in the back. So when I fire right now, you'll see it goes forwards and it goes backwards. Now my cab is flashing red, which means it is very much close to being destroyed. A couple more hits, maybe just one more hit, and I will lose my bot. Hopefully, they will give us the recharge bubble here in a few seconds, and I believe that's over here in this direction. So let's go ahead and turn the camera angle so we can see a little bit better. We'll zoom out a little bit. I don't like how they changed the zoom button to the scroll wheel as well as the changing the items around. I do believe you can do that with like the F key or something like that, but not a big fan of how they changed that. I hope they may change that back in the future, although from what I've heard, they're pretty set in their ways on doing that one. Now, this is the solar generator. It does exactly what you think it would do. It creates energy, and it's going to give you another little thing. It's going to drop it from the sky and damage your vehicle a little bit, but that's all right. Now, this is a or repair bubble, I should say, and it needs to power up for a few seconds, and then you can see when you're inside that bubble, your bot will get instantly healed. It uses the energy from the solar reactor to heal you up. Now, the downside to that, again, is that you're only going to have power with the solar generator during the day, and this game does have a day and night cycle. So you want to make sure that if you're starting the game off and you don't have any batteries to store power just yet, that you go ahead and charge or repair your vehicle before nightfall. Otherwise, you're going to be going into nightfall at a disadvantage, and you may not survive it, because it's not like more things come out at night, like in Minecraft. No, it's just, it's dangerous in this game, and you're going to run into issues. Now, normally, you don't want to put this block in the back, because it is a very valuable, you know, thing to have, and this thing, I don't think, can fire over it. See, it's not really firing over that. So what you can do is just change the direction. So now it's going left instead of back, and it's more than fine doing what it needs to do. Let's come over here. Now, if you don't have the space, doing this tutorial the way we're doing, if you don't have the space, when you pick this object up, you didn't have to attach it to the ground. You can see right there, it kind of mounts itself to the ground when you put it down like that, and then that object fell from the sky. If you know what you're doing and you're able to keep going without repairing, you could just attach it to your bot and move on, and you won't get this little object right here until later on when you actually do attach that to the ground. So that saves you a little bit of space right off the bat. And the same thing can be said for all the other pieces that you're going to be getting. Some of them are base pieces, some of them are you know, different things that they're going to be dropping other stuff down on you. And if your bot's just not able to handle all that stuff, you're just going to get overloaded with junk. And it's not really junk, it's stuff you need, but definitely it's going to overload you and make your bot just look all funky, and you're just probably going to get wrecked the first time you get into a fight. So my suggestion would be to go ahead and put these things down, and then come over here and fight another enemy really quick. If we can see which way he's going. There's not going to be anything off of this guy, unfortunately. He is pretty bad. Like, this, the only thing he has on him is the, in fact, he's not even very balanced with that, because all he has is those drills and a couple wheels. However, we can use the wheels. We actually do have a few spaces for the wheels at the moment, so let's go ahead and snag those. It's not a complete loss in that regard. Put that on there. Now, these wheels are not the biggest wheels in the game. They're not even the biggest wheels for the GSO Corporation. These are pretty much the crappiest wheels that you're going to get. Now, there are a few things that you need to know about when you're killing mobs. If they drop something you've never seen before, and like this little light right here. This is a light that we have not seen during this playthrough. The way to get access to that later on, to buy it from the shop, is to pick it up. You used to have to actually attach it to your bot, and then you could throw it down instantly if you wanted to. Now all you have to do is pick it up, hold it on your cursor, and then drop it on the ground if you don't want to take it with you. Now what you could do is take it with you. This is going to give you a little bit of illumination during the nighttime. Not necessarily something you absolutely have to have, because to be honest, nighttime is not so dark that you can't see where you're going without lights, and lights really do bog down your computer if you don't happen to have a state-of-the-art one, especially as there's more and more blocks rendered on your computer. So if you're in a bio, you know, like this, which is where there's trees, there's resources, there's mobs in here, it's rendering a lot of stuff already. If you go out into the desert, the salt flats, there's very, very little stuff out there. It's just kind of flat. There might be a resource here and there, but not too many, to be honest. And you're not going to have to render, you know, all that much stuff there in that area. So definitely something to consider. You know, you have to take that stuff into account based off of the specs of your computer. Now, even with a really, really state-of-the-art computer, you're still going to reach a limit in this game at the moment, because it's still in development, that your computer just doesn't handle it. Like, the game itself just is saying, nope, there's too much being rendered. We need to fix some stuff. So this guy's a little thief. Normally you have to chase him. You know, he runs away from you, but it looks like he's stuck. So we're just gonna sit over here and see if we can keep shooting him like this, because if we can destroy him and not have to chase him all over the map, that is fantastic. But like I said, normally it's not this easy. You're going to have to, I don't want to destroy that. Yeah, okay, there we go. We're hitting him. Couple more shots. Let's see. Oh, he's flashing. Okay, he's about to blow up. There we go. Nice. That is fantastic. And we get all the pieces from this guy for sure. Okay, so we got a radar. This radar right here will give you a you know, little thing up here on the top right corner that will show you, like right here, this little, you know, dial is going to change. You used to not even have this, where it showed you like north, south, east, and west without a radar. In fact, I'll just go ahead and throw it on there. Hopefully it won't give me another item. But you'll see the little circle has changed. It has gotten bigger up here in this area. And now it shows a little red arrow. The red arrow is enemies that are on the map that are close to you. The yellow arrow are points of interest that you need to check out. Anything that's gray is usually a station that has a new block that you've not discovered yet, or just a block period. If you've discovered it before by killing enemies, it's still going to be gray. Now, one thing you kind of want to do right off the bat, as soon as you possibly can, is just put down more blocks in the front of your bot. And why do you want to do that? Well, like I said before, the cab is your main component. If that is destroyed, your cab is destroyed. I mean, the whole bot is destroyed. You lose, you know, cohesive of all these blocks together. So you want to make sure that's not in the front, because the front is usually where enemies will attack from. You also want to make sure that it's not on the side, that is protected on all sides. It's in the center of your bot as much as possible, at least the very first one. Later on, you're going to have multiple cabs that you can have on your bot. You just, you know, you got to make that choice. Let's get this closer. Let's see if we can get that all the way in there. I think there's a little bit damaged. No, I guess it was all the way in there already. Okay, so we'll put this back up, and we'll put this on the back, and that way we can put wheels on the side of it as well. Now, you don't want to go too far back. It's kind of looking a little bit like a, you know, a centipede or something like that at the moment, but you definitely don't want to go too far in one direction or the other. And the reason behind that is you have these little crevices that you have to get through, and some of these are really wide, like this one, but then some of them are very, very steep, you know, like this one right over here, and we'll come back and grab that in a second. But you'll see this one right here, and this is just an example of things you'll see. And as you go down it, you also have to go up the other side, and if your bot's too long, you'll still be going down the backside as your front is trying to go up the other side. And what you'll end up doing is having like 1 or 2 wheels in the front connected to the ground, 1 or 2 wheels in the back connected to the ground, and all the wheels in the center not touching the ground at all. And that doesn't really work very well because the wheels themselves support the weight of your bot, and as your bot gets bigger and taller, it's supporting more and more weight with the wheels that you have. And when you put all that weight on a 1 or 2 wheels, it overloads them, and it actually will have them spark when they get close to being overloaded, and then when they're completely overloaded, they just kind of stop working. So you do have to consider, if you're too long, like that right there, you'll see the sparks right there in the back, and it's because a lot of weight is being put onto that back wheel. Same thing with the front wheel. A lot of weight is being put on that front wheel because the wheels in the center are just not touching anymore. And that's not really a big issue with the bot this small, but as you get bigger and bigger and bigger, that issue becomes more and more compounded to the point where you're just not even able to move anymore when you're going up areas like that. So definitely consider that when designing your bot. Now, I am going over a lot of basic stuff, things that those of you who have watched my videos in the past will know about. Anytime I start a new Let's Play, a new playthrough of the game, I always go over stuff like this. And the main reason behind it is just because I want to make sure that people who are coming to the game know how to play it. I mean, when I first came to this game, I watched a lot of videos, and people who were doing the videos were pretty much just telling you stuff that was like advanced stuff. And I'm like, well, yeah, I understand that you can do this and this and this, and that sounds really cool. I can't wait to get to that point. But what about the basics? Like, where did you get the freaking radar? And you know, now they have an actual tutorial in the game that teaches you a lot of this stuff. But when the game first came out, it didn't have any of that. Sorry, guys, I do apologize for coughing in your ear like that. But yeah, it definitely has gotten a little bit better. Oh, there's a new wheel here that we have not discovered in this playthrough. This is a wheel that you can put in the back, and it provides a little bit of extra stability. It actually provides turning a little bit more, and it doesn't tip down in the back anymore. So if you're going up a hill, this actually pushes you up a little bit more than you normally would be pushed up, which is which is kind of a nice little thing to have. I definitely don't use them as much as I possibly could, because the reason I don't like these wheels is that they're so small. Later on, you're going to get wheels that push your bot further and further and further up the ground. If you look at this right now, you'll see the amount of space between the blocks and the ground is what, like, you know, centimeters wide. Later on, you're going to get stuff stuck underneath you. Like these objects right here can and will get stuck underneath your bot. Like I can run over this weapon and it will get stuck underneath me. Actually, I don't think I can run over it because it is I'm just not high enough off the ground. But later on, when you get a little higher, you'll start to run over this stuff and it will get in your way and bog down your vehicle to where you can barely even move anymore. So definitely take that into account, and you know, I guess you know, again, plan accordingly. Now I'm going to take these lights, you know, again, not really necessary to do so, but you can also sell them later down the road. And I, you know, kind of want to make a little bit of money as quick as possible, so I can take that. I'm going to take these drills as well if I have spaces to put them. I don't think I do, and I'm about to pick up another object, so I think I'm going to leave that there for now. I didn't take any damage on that fight, so I don't need to take out my solar reactor and repair up just yet. There is another enemy over here. Let's see. Does he have any blocks on him? I do want to make my guy a little bit bigger if I possibly can. Come on, controls, work with me, not against me. I think their controls are in reverse. That's why I'm having to get used to them all over again. There is a guy down there. Ooh, nice. It is hitting him. Oh, he does have... Okay, so we'll go ahead and destroy this block and see if we can... Okay, well, we're not going to get that block. That block is going to get completely destroyed. And you can see it just blew up right there in my hand. Now, if you see a block like that flashing, and you do definitely want to get a hold of it and maybe use it later, you can, if you have your repair bubble activated. If it's connected to a battery, you can actually have it on your bot as you're moving around and activate it while you're doing that. And as you take damage, it will instantly get repaired using the power. And the more damage you take, the more power you have to use, and eventually you run out of power. It needs to be recharged. That's the give and take in this game. But if you find a block that you're... And this one's actually stuck up in the tree, so we need to chop this tree down. And as we chop the tree down, you'll see that it has little objects, little things that are coming out of it. This is resources that you can use later down the road to build, you know, things out of it. Like the wood is used for fuel mainly. Sorry, guys, I need to drink some water right there. I do apologize again for, you know, the pauses like that and the coughing. Again, I'm still getting over my cold, and, you know, that's just something I have to do until it's completely gone. But Yeah, these resources are things you can use. The wood is usually used for fuel. They haven't really put anything in the game just yet that wood can be made out of. I do kind of wish that there was something. And you usually get about three of these slices, these wedge slices, for every tree you chop down. Sometimes it's a little bit more. I haven't really seen anything less than that. And it's kind of a cool little resource. It's one of the cheapest in the game, though. Like, if you're going to sell the resources to make a little bit of cash, wood is one of, like, the worst ones to do it with. Now, keep in mind, when you chop these things down, occasionally you get a different type of resource. And that's these little sap jellies. And the sap jellies, I believe, are used to make a different type of fuel, a little bit more advanced fuel that seems to recharge batteries a little bit more when you use them in that regard. And I don't think they're used in anything else either just yet, but again, maybe down the road they will be. Now, every one of these that you create on the map will stay on the map for some time. Usually it doesn't disappear at all, to be honest, but while they're on the map, it's another thing the game has to render. So if you're having lag issues and you're going through a biome like this and you're just chopping trees down for the fun of it and not picking up any of it and not rendering or not getting rid of it off of the map, you're going to have even more lag issues. So keep that in mind as well. There we go. We're going to chop this down. Now, when you shoot these things, you can destroy them with your gun. That's why most people who are going to create something like this will use drills or different things like that do not do damage to this stuff, especially if it's valuable. Really, really expensive stuff. You don't want to even risk destroying it. Here we go. Yeah, that one actually took a lot of hits, and I think it popped off, what, 3 or 4 of those things. Now, this is a battery right here. This battery is what I was telling you about earlier, and in fact, we'll go ahead and pop that off. All those wheels will pop off, but we'll put those back on later. Now, you'll see it's going to go ahead and activate the shield that repairs any of the pieces that have taken damage, and we did get into a fight. You want to make sure all of that is in there as much as possible. Okay, well, we're gonna have to go over there and see if we can take this guy on. There he is. Okay, come on. Oh, you got some blocks on you. Nice. Come on, destroy him. I think he's about to blow up. Yes, he is. Let's come over here and get repaired before we lose any pieces. Yep, everything is repaired. Now, about this battery, if you take this battery and attach it to the solar reactor, you'll see down here on the bottom this little line, this little block, and it starts off red. Actually starts off completely empty, and that means it has no power whatsoever. Then it goes from 1 block, which is red, to 2, which is yellow, 3, which is green, and then 4, which is green, and 5 completely filled. Completely filled is not completely and totally filled. I usually find that waiting a few more seconds or even longer, depending on the amount of storage space in the particular type of battery that you have, does allow it to kind of top itself off a little bit more and last a little bit longer. Now that we have a battery, if we go ahead and take that battery off and put it on our bot, nothing happens to it. That stays completely and totally full of power forever until we start using it. And the only way to start using it is to attach something to our bot that actually drains power. And the only thing we have right now that drains power is our repair bubble. So if we take that repair bubble, throw it on our bot right now, now you can see it's using a little bit of power from that battery, but it's repairing constantly everything on our bot. It's going to use even more power when it takes damage, and it actually has to repair. But even right now, you'll see it's going to slowly start ticking down because it's using power just being on. It's actually rendering the bubble of repairness that's in that. Now, be very, very careful, because like at this size, the bubble itself is larger than your bot is. And if the enemy happens to rush you for whatever reason, he runs into this little circle, he will get repaired by your circle, and that means you're using your own power to repair an enemy, and that just really, really sucks. So we're gonna go ahead and put this back over here for now. We're gonna come over here and get these blocks and kind of change our design a little bit and make this thing a little bit bigger in a good way. Let's see. I think what I want to do is do something I haven't done before, and that's gonna be, how are we gonna do this? What if we, oh, I think I got an idea. What if we do this? We go off this direction, raise it up a little bit. We're going to need more blocks, definitely, so we're going to leave that there for now. It's going to be a little lopsided at the moment. And the reason I kind of want to raise it up is there are different types of weapons out there. One of them is a stud laser that shoots, actually connects right here in the front, right where I have this weapon right here. But instead of facing down or always forward, the weapon will actually face straight out. And that will allow you to shoot straight in front of you and it's actually a really, really cool thing to have. So we're going to put that on there and just, you know, see how that works out. I do need to connect this down a little bit more. I need to take this and connect it a little bit further to the ground by putting one block here, maybe a block here, and then connecting it that way. And it's going to give it a unique look to it as well. And I would suggest, if you're brand new to the game, that you play around with different designs, because you just never know what's going to work. And even somebody who's played the game many, many times before will find, as they're playing with new designs, they find a lot of new ones that they never really thought was going to work, but actually ended up being something that they wish they had done sooner, you know? So definitely just mess around with it and see what you can do. Again, this is a game that is based off of a little bit of combat, so you do need to make sure that it can do that part. But beyond that, have fun with it. You know, build whatever it is that comes to mind. If you want to build a X-Wing, build a bot that looks like an X-Wing. If you want to build your, like I built one just on the last couple episodes that looked like SpongeBob SquarePants' house, the pineapple that he lives in. So that is definitely something you can do. You know, just have fun with it. Like the physics, you kind of have to understand how they work. But once you understand like the basics, the sky's the limit, really. I mean, in fact, you can fly in this game, so the sky is, you know, not even the limit. Like I don't think you can go into space just yet. That's not a thing. But you know, maybe down the road. Let's see if can we hit this guy from far away. Oh, we're doing a little bit of damage, and he's coming to us this time. I did make a. You know, when I do the videos, these little robbers have always been way, way too fast. So maybe they are changing it now that that people may have complained about that a little bit. I don't know, but this is a shield bubble. Shield bubbles are kind of like the repair bubbles, but in the sense that they don't let anything through. So the repair bubble will repair your blocks, but the shield bubble will stop weapon damage from even coming through to damage your blocks. So that's really, really nice. I think I'll go off one more, and the reason I'll go off one more is because now I can put a wheel on the inside and a wheel on the outside. Now you'll see there are some new wheels over here. These wheels right here on the ground. If you hover over them, you'll see these are GSO dirt wheels. These other ones are the GSO little trekker wheels. Little trekkers don't push your bot up as high. So if I put this over here, you'll see it actually pushes it up slightly more than these ones on this end. So you definitely need to have the bigger wheels on the front and the back to get the actual lift that you're looking for. So if we put that one on this side and we take this one off and put it over here on this side, now the front of our bot is up a little bit higher. The back of it, however, is still pretty low to the ground. We just don't have enough wheels to kind of keep that keep that up. But we're going to go ahead and put that one there, because as this side becomes higher, it's putting a little bit more weight onto this side, and these bigger wheels can support a little bit more weight, which is going to allow you to allow the vehicle itself. In fact, I'm going to move this because this one's going to pop off all the time, because I do need to kind of recharge that battery up a little bit here real quick. But yeah, as you you know, as you make your bot bigger and bigger, as you can see, that's exactly what we're doing. You need to leave room for more and more wheels, or get the stronger and stronger wheels to do it. And it's not really dark yet, so we don't need to worry about recharging too much. We just need to get that back up there. So let's put that back on. We don't really have the space. I guess we can put that here. We don't really have to keep putting it on the back anymore. We got room for it, and we'll just leave the extra wheels. Normally I would pick them up. In fact, I can take one or two with me. I can put one right there. I can put this one up here on this end, just in case we don't get the wheels when we need them. A couple times, actually more than a couple times, when you first start out, you're going to get bots that either have a lot of blocks to them and no wheels, or you're going to get a lot of bots that have a lot of wheels and no blocks. It kind of sucks if you're not planning ahead, because you're going to run out of stuff in the wrong order. You know, like you're just going to be like, oh, I got a ton of blocks but no wheels. I can't really do anything with this. I have to just stack them up and hope that I can support the weight that I need. Ooh, nice. Okay, so let's go over here and attack this guy. He actually does have quite a few pieces on him. Come on. It's going backwards on the... yeah, we got him. We got him. How much is left of him? Nothing. Absolutely nothing is left of that guy. Again, you will run into that issue as you get more and more weapons. You become more and more powerful, and trying to destroy an enemy that's a lot smaller than you when you have tons and tons of weapons is a very, very delicate, you know, balance of let me do this and let me fire just a couple shots rather than holding down the attack button. If you're attacking an enemy that's, greater in size than you and you don't have a lot of weapons, then you definitely don't have to worry about holding down the attack button. But if there's something on that bot that you've never seen before, something that looks interesting and you're like, ooh, I want to get a hold of that, I want to pick that up at least, then be a little bit more cautious, like make sure you don't just go in guns a-blazing. Now, normally I would not suggest going through a forest like this because it's going to cause rendering lag, when it does all that stuff, but for now, it's okay. I mean, there's not a lot of stuff on the map that's going to cause issues, and we're going to be heading over here. Now, this is another resource over here. This one actually is one of the most valuable resources on the map. Now, if I hit the escape button, you guys will see in the bottom right-hand corner, there is a code. This is the seed of this world. So if you guys ever wanted to come onto this world, you're more than welcome to use the seed. I have had questions about that. They said they've used the seed, they've come onto the world, and some of the places that I set up my base aren't really the same in theirs. They don't have the same depots and things of that sort. Unfortunately, the way the game works right now, and they are attempting to fix this, is that the resources in the spots that you see them will be the same. That's what the seed is there for. However, every single time you load into that seed, a new time, you go into a new game, enter that seed, and hit start, the depots are going to be randomly throughout the map. And so not exactly going to be able to set up the same place that I set up. And there's another resource right there, this little rock that has little blue stuff in it. That is definitely something you're going to want to get a hold of. Now, the one that's used the most is the gray one. The gray resource, I forgot what it's called, is the most valuable one on the map. It's used in pretty much every crafting recipe out there, especially the early stuff. This stuff right here is only used in making lights. As you can imagine, it lights up. It's glowing stuff, so it's used in that regard. But guys, I think we're going to go ahead and call the episode right here for our first time. We have grown quite well, I think, and I think we're doing really well on our progression, actually. So hopefully here in the future, we're going to start setting up our base and getting into some more complicated stuff. You definitely want to make sure you recharge that when you have some downtime. Anytime you stop to build something, pick up pieces here and there, make sure to just charge that up while you're building. And that way you don't have to do that later down the road when you want to go off and attack, because there's definitely a lot of stuff in this game to do. Again, guys, I want to thank you all for watching. I'm AC Gamer, and I will definitely catch you all next time. Hey guys, and welcome to the disembodied voice of AC Gamer. We are definitely going to be doing a lot more series in the future, but here are a few of them that you guys might find interesting. Of course, you're more than welcome to check them out. I would love to hear your comments. Again, if you do enjoy these videos, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe. It's definitely the indicator that I use to tell if you guys want to see more videos like that, of that particular game style, of that series in the long run. So when you guys leave comments down, it helps me decide whether we should keep doing it, as well as whether you want to see games like that in the future. And here are a few of them right here. I kind of picked out a few of different genres. We will be doing spotlights for other YouTubers in the future. So if you want to get a little shout out, definitely let me know. If you group with me, chances are you will get a shout out in here eventually. But for now, these are just 4 series that I have that I feel like could use a little bit more attention, and that you guys might actually enjoy as well. Thanks again for watching, guys, and we will definitely catch you all next time.